I interviewed Bill O'Coin shortly before he passed away a couple of years ago, and
oh, wonderful!
Yeah, and he told me that in the very early days you were considered the leader of the band, since you were the one with the most experience. Do you remember when the table turned, so to speak, and Gene and Paul became the dominating guys that you speak of in the book?
Yeah, well, that's very true, and I speak highly about Bill in my book. I talk all about him. I loved him dearly. It's funny. I was very I did have a lot to say at the beginning because I did a lot of touring before they did. I was already on a label before they were on a label, so I think it just kind of slipped away from me when it became more business and it also had more money, and then these new business managers moved in, and little by little things were being taken away, kind of, and added. The merchandise became, for me, ridiculous. I thought we're a rock and roll band like Zeppelin. We're not selling dolls and lunchboxes and all this junk that Gene went crazy about. I was like, I don't care about that. I just care about the music and who we are. That's all we were ever concerned about anyway. And it just got to be constantly then fights and who wanted to do this and who wanted to do that. And eventually, when Gene became the spokesman for the band, when he would do the interviews, kind of when we would do shows, it just went to his head more and more. He got more and more on a power thing, where lesser and lesser for me. I just wanted to play and have a good time. I was young, so there was a lot of women, there was a lot of partying, there was a lot too much other things I got involved in to worry about, kind of being a leader of the band. And I never wanted to be. I just always wanted to be a member, like one of the guys. I don't care for like running the show. That's not my thing.
Well, let's talk about your drumming. In my mind, your drumming style always stood out in Kiss, because even though Kiss were a hard rock band, you came more from a Charlie Watts school of playing. And when I watch the video from Coventry, I think you sometimes played holding a traditional grip like Charlie does. So please tell me how your drumming style evolved during the early years of your career.
Well, my idol was Gene Krupa.
Yeah.
Charlie Watts' idol was Charlie Parker. But we're both pretty much jazz drummers. We both love. That's why I love Charlie Watts. He loves jazz so much, and I grew up with jazz before rock and roll. I listened to a lot of jazz bands, from Miles Davis to Benny Goodman to Cal Tjader to Latin jazz, all jazzes, and I loved it. And I played it for many, many years. And then when I got into the rock, it was interesting that I started to incorporate my jazz in the rock and roll, which no one ever did. So a lot of my fills you'll hear in my music are jazz fills. They're not rock and roll fills. And it sort of gave us our own sound. It was amazing. And, I'm still messing a lot with it. Matter of fact, a few months, last year I recorded like 10 jazz songs with a few guys in my house. Okay. And, so my drums are always set up, man. I always go down. I mess around with them pretty much every day. I got a huge studio built, so I'm always playing.
One of the most peculiar things in your book is that you don't remember signing away your share in Kiss and your cat makeup in the mid-'80s. Didn't you have lawyers who informed you about what was happening?
Don't we all, boy? And don't they have long fingers? And don't they? Man, in my business, and most people will tell you, it's not a fair business. It's not a clean business. There's always underhanded things going on.
Okay.
There's always stealing. Monies are always being taken behind the artist's back. And I know a lot of artists that would give you the same story. I went bankrupt. I went this. I went that. My manager was taking my money. My business manager was taking my money. And it's so very true. And I was the kind of kid that I didn't really pay attention to all that business stuff. I didn't care. I only wanted to play music. I wanted to travel. I wanted to play for the fans. I wanted to live that life of being a real musician and an artist. I hired all these guys, and they were very expensive, trust me, to do that, to take care of my business, my whatever that may be. And they didn't. And I trusted them. when the time came around, next thing I know, I lost my makeup.
Mm.
And a lot of other millions of dollars that was kind of underhandedly gone from me.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say was...
And I've never, to me it was implorable because I wasn't raised to steal or take or try to connive somebody from something. I'm a Christian. I just believe that everybody's equal and we're all the same and there's nobody better than no one. And I could never dream of, like, say, taking your money, man, like, coming over your house and stealing your whatever you got. I wasn't raised that way.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Regarding the album Psycho Circus, is it too difficult to tell more about what went on behind the scenes?
Well, Psycho Circus was, I don't know what happened there. I know that all of a sudden we knew an album was coming up, and I was excited because we hadn't played together in the studio for a long, long time as a band. Mm-hmm. And we were getting thousands of letters from fans that they were very excited that we were going to record together again, be in a room together again. They hadn't heard nothing like that in a long, long time. And so next thing I know, again with the lawyers and the record companies and managers, it was like, no, Gene and Paul are going to do everything. They're going to make this happen. They're going to hire some studio guys, which crushed my heart. And we'll pay you an ace money. And first they wanted to pay me money, but they wanted me not to tell the fans that I'm not on the album. And I said I wouldn't do that. That's not going to happen. If I'm not on it, I'm not on it. And you're not going to pay me money to say a lie. There ain't enough money for me to lie. So they wound up giving one song, which was an Ace song, Into the Void, which I think sucks. And I wound up going in and playing with Ace on the one song. So by doing that, then at least Ace and I would have to say we played on the album.
Yeah.
And, so they worked it out that way that we did play on the album, but we didn't play all the other songs. And I think if we would have, they would have been better.
But
personally.
Did you ever ask Gene and Paul, how come I can't play on the album?
They didn't, at that point, they didn't even care. They were just happy that they were making millions and millions of dollars. They were running the show. They were the boss. Everything was their way. It was very, like, again, Machiavellian. They were very turned into dictators, and it was very uncomfortable. It was back in the day, Peter played whatever you want to play. It's always great. It's always good. It'll always fit in. It turned into everything we did, we had to do it their way. And that sucks, man. That's not a band.
Yeah.
It's not a group.
Yeah, I agree totally. It's a great shame that it was only on one track, because I actually heard an interview with the Kevin Valentine who played on the album, and he said that the best song, the best groove on that album is actually the one that he doesn't play on, the one with the original Kiss.
Well, look, I'm a hell of a better drummer than him. I don't know where they got the idea even to put him over me, but that was okay. That was their way again, I think, of showing me who's the boss, showing Ace who's the boss, and we do what we want to do. Look at Bruce Fairbairn died after the album. That'll tell you how much stress there was in that room. That the poor guy dropped dead after doing the album. I heard it was a really tough thing in there. I'm glad. I'm blessed that I wasn't in there and part of it. And I wrote some songs for it, and they denied them. And I wound up doing them on One for All.
Mm-hmm. Because I spoke to Gene a couple of years ago, and he claims that you and Ace wanted to renegotiate your contract, and that's why they went with other players.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
It's funny. He says one thing and I say another to you, so you don't know who's really lying to you.
Yeah.
But believe me, man, I would have played for free if they would want me to play. If they would have said, we're going to do 13 songs, this is to the fans, I would have played for free. I did not want to renegotiate. They offered me a nice check to do that record. I was very happy with what they were giving me. So there was no dispute about money. It was their decision not to use mayonnaise.
Yeah, yeah, all right.
I'll swear on the Bible with that.
Yeah, I believe you. You're an honest guy, Peter. I actually believe you.
Thank you. I am. I really am.
Yeah.